many of the type projects and activities. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just listen to the sound of these 6 Merlin aircraft with these 3 historic aircraft coming through. And remember, young men and women who gave so much for our freedom. So you can see why I wouldn't want to talk over that. And as has been pointed out by a member of the FCC, Joe, it's actually 5 Merlin and 1 Griffin powered, because the Spitfire is the Mark 19, the photo reconnaissance version, and that had a Griffin engine, not a Merlin engine. It was updated, ending after a Mark 12 and a Griffin engine. Where would we be at the FCC in their years of knowledge? So as the aircraft position themselves to come back around, they're going to stay in this formation for a while. Then the 2 fighters will break from the bomber and do a tail shake amongst themselves, and the bomber, the Lancaster, will come back in by itself. Right now, let's soak up the atmosphere. 1 Griffin, 5 Merlin engines. Very distinctive Hurricane you see there in all black. That is the last Hurricane that was ever built. It was about 14,533 built, and this one rolled off the Hawker production line in Langley in July of 1944. And inscribed on the airframe is the last of the many. It's got it on the port and starboard side. Now, obviously, people knew this was an important aircraft, and they were very keen to make sure it didn't disappear. So Hawker purchased the aircraft back from the Air Ministry, and they kept it in storage at Langley. In 1950, the aircraft was entered into the King's Cup Air Race by Her Royal Highness Princess Margaret, and it was flown by none other than Group Captain Peter Townsend. He achieved 2nd place in this aircraft. So there you had the commanding officer flying the Lancaster trying to fight us to brake. They'll come back in if the Lancaster moves off to the right. As I said, this Hurricane was then raced by Peter Townsend, where he got 2nd place in the King's Cup Air Race. During 1960, the PZ was referred to as the original wartime camouflage scheme, and a lot of flying displays at air shows in the hands of the famous fighter and test pilot Bill Bedford. It also appeared in the Battle of Britain. I don't think there's many people here that have not seen the Battle of Britain Memorial, the Battle of Britain. So it's a bit of a staple for everyone that goes to air shows. So it's a movie star. In March of 72, after a big overhaul, PZ-865 was flown to Cotswold, and there it was presented by Hawker Siddeley to the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. So get your cameras ready. The aircraft are coming in straight ahead of us. Crowd center. The Hawker Hurricane. The Mark 19 Spitfire. PZ-865 currently appears as I said in an all-black night fighter colour scheme, representing the Hurricane Mark 2C. That aircraft was P634. It was the 247 squadron. The squadron Hurricanes were used for night air defense and also down in Texas, and also for night intruder operations in Paris in northwestern France. Spitfire Mark 19 EM631. This was built back in Reading. It was delivered to Southampton in May of 44. It was used for tests, although it did not see operational service. It pretty much represents the similar high altitude photo reconnaissance Spitfires which did. They were unarmed, of course. They could fly at 370 miles an hour. Main armament was actually two. They fly up to 40,000 feet. They had a fully pressurized cockpit and a range of about 1,500 miles. Which covered vast swathes of northern France, where they did amazing work preparing for the D-Day invasion. Spitfire was the satellite of the day. Without them, there would be no intelligence. You wouldn't know where the battle groups were. You wouldn't know what sort of defenses you'd be going into. And without these very, very fast aircraft flown by very brave pilots in difficult conditions, 40,000 feet is not a place you want to be with in a piston engine if you can help it. Valuable data was brought back. It was issued to 203 Advanced Flying School, and there it was modified for meteorological work. She was flown by civilian pilots with the temperatures, humidity, and monitoring flight. It was based out of Fulton Park and Woodvale, and they regularly went up to 30,000 feet every day in this aircraft. In 57, the M631 was flown to Biggin Hill from Duxford. By World War II Fighter Ace Group Captain Jamie Rankin, and in formation with another flight of Mark 19, which was PS-853 and PS-915, formed the historical aircraft flight, which later evolved into BBMF. So the fighters just letting you know the Lancaster, they see them. I hope you got that on video. Spitfire and a Hurricane rolling over the top with a Lancaster underneath on a beautiful sunny day in Blackpool. It could not be any better. Well, Lancaster letting us know the speed, so the aircraft, when they come to catch up with them on the way back, will be able to match their speed. As I said earlier, this aircraft served with Flight Refueling Limited, and then it went on to Cranfield in 1954, where she was modified as a platform for testing experimental aerofoil sections. In April of '64, it was adopted by the Air Historical Branch for static display originally at the RAF Museum. She was flown to Henlow for storage to wait the opening of the museum. And then in '65, the CEO of 44 Squadron, that was the first ever unit equipped with Lancasters, and at that time was flying Bolton, gained permission for 474 to be transferred to the care of the squadron. And after inspecting it, they said, wow, this is in really good condition. It's like new inside. And it was allowed to fly over there. It then got refurbished, joined the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight in 1973. Initially at Collishaw before the flight was Coningsby in '76, and still living there today, happily. The A474 was officially adopted by the City of Lincoln in 1975, and permission was granted for the aircraft to display the coat of arms with the name of the city on the nose, which it always does. It does sometimes adjust the colour schemes that it wears, representing other aircraft, but the City of Lincoln always stays on the nose. The A474 at the moment, painted on the port side as Lancaster Bill. Lancaster Bill was the nose art depicting a kangaroo in Wellington boots trained backside, representing the mixed nationalities that flew the aircraft, the Scottish, the Australian and the Welsh. And that was true at the time. 505 flew 51 off the 460 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force, to Bisbrook, and then it was transferred over to 550 Squadron and North Skilling. And then on the other side, on the starboard side, it wears the colours of 50 Squadron with the code letters VN or VST. These are the code letters of the aircraft which Flying Officer Dougie Milken flew 27 missions In total, Doug is 35 up on his score with 50 spotters. So can you hear the fighter pilots calling out that they're clear? Obviously the bomber pilots can't see them because they're trailing behind underneath, so now they'll pop up beside them, get a line abreast. I cannot recommend enough thinking about joining this official club for the Royal Air Force Memorial Flight. You can get membership in the club, which is £30 for a whole year, and those funds go directly in keeping these aircraft flying. In return for your support, you'll become part of BBMF's own special club that takes you to the heart of the action. You'll receive high-quality glossy magazines each year. The club magazine features stunning images, behind-the-scenes interviews. You can also sign up to get a monthly interview, and there are entitled to free tours of BBMF hangar via the BBMF Visitor Centre. That's worth it for a day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, final pass.